diluvio, the big sinking of our planet into water. And after that, the people that survived this cataclysm, and they went to this area that I feel, and some of the things I will be saying is as well part of my own connecting the dots. So that many people went to Eastern Islands, and then as well in Los Andes, so pretty much in the Americas, in the South America. It was where these civilizations went. And I feel that after that, many went to Egypt as well, and India, and she studies so many books. She's like more than 49 years of research, and she's this amazing woman. And I always felt that, especially South America, obviously, because North America, as we know, it is a big economy and is leading the way of so many things in the world that we are living. And even as a South America woman, and perhaps not many of you, or maybe you know, that many of the wars that happen in South America, and even in Paraguay, the war between Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil against Paraguay, all this was the greediness between, besides after the Spanish and the Portuguese virreinatos here. Obviously, it was the independence of the countries, but even after that, North America and England, they were all influencing this war because of obviously because they have seen, for example, Paraguay is thriving as a country, or South America is thriving as a country, and they obviously never let South America to flourish. They are always putting this filter, and it's interesting that they do the same thing to the whole South hemispheres. So that's why I really feel passionate about feeling, and that for me, especially South America, but the whole South hemispheres really hold the wisdom of the feminine. That's why even if you think about, and many of the singing or dancing, normally a South America person or an Africa person is a person that you know in the world for like dancing and singing and be more lively and be more spontaneous, that are really qualities of the feminine that is almost that is in the land itself. So I really feel that in the South hemispheres we hold the wisdom of the feminine and the mother, and that's why they kept, it's almost that if our planet, our earth, it is as well an organism. So if it's an organism, as well have the feminine and the masculine aspects of it. So I really feel like the North Americas are the representation of the masculine, and that's why exactly why countries as United States and anyway Canada and England and obviously all Europe and even Russia, China, they are in a way holding this masculine archetype. And as well, we know who will deny that we are not living in a patriarchy, and that suddenly in the old times, as people speak about Lemuria or Hawaiian traditions that were more matriarchy, we know that suddenly there was this split, and suddenly we were living in this patriarchy where there is no like a balance between the feminine and masculine aspects, but is driving us more to this masculine principle. And that's exactly what is happening in this moment on the planet, that we finally, obviously since already many years, restoring the balance of the planet as the planet itself as an organism, and at the same time restoring the balance within ourselves. And even Jesus, Mother Mary, they all came as well with bringing the wisdom of the feminine as well, of compassion, of love, of care, that are really qualities as well of the feminine. So speaking again about Los Andes in Peru, so that practically will put everything that we know through the rubbish, kind of saying, because then it means that the way that we learn history is very, very manipulated. And it's not exactly what we have been told. And this woman even speak about yoga, for example, being already part of these Andes civilizations. So the literally some of the yoga postures that is popular around the world, it will not be only an Indian teaching, because maybe even started in Los Andes. And as well, she studied the Vedas and the Upanishads, and she speak about, even in the Vedas, speaking about corn. And as we know, corn, it is from South America. So that already is a proof that obviously these civilizations that wrote these books, they had to have connection with people from South America to be able obviously to write those books from thousands of years ago. So when you really land in Peru, it's impossible not to feel the feminine power rising and the feminine energy as well that is being held there. And I love the connection as well that so many of the sites there have with the Pleiades stars. And if you think about the Pleiades as the seven sisters, about these mothers, the mothers of humanity as well, and this connection of our cosmology and our earthly history is there in Machu Picchu, is there in Pisac, is there in Ollantaytambo, it is there in all these reference. And so many people as well speak, obviously we know about the Incas, but obviously many of the architecture of the Incas are perhaps built on top of something that already existed pre-Incas. So obviously there is like a real depth of our history that we don't understand. And even when I feel like, for example, I really feel a connection when I was there in Chincheros, especially in around the Sacred Valley. I definitely felt the energy of Tibet there, and that definitely makes sense when you start feeling that, who knows, maybe some people literally from the Andes, they were the ones who became who were the ancestors of what after became Tibet and the monks, and that unfolded all that after was part of this world. And even the connection with Ireland, that since the moment I just hear Peru and suddenly Eriu was whispering in my ear, and the connection, even though obviously that is not exactly the whole all the same letters, but in the sense of the phonetic of the word Peru, Eriu, Ireland, definitely I feel there is a connection with these countries. There is a thread of our history that is being woven, and I definitely feel that part of that history is there in South America. And I think not many people in this world are able to access that or able to acknowledge that, because everyone is so focused with thinking, oh, Europe, North America are leading the way. Yes, they are. Because why? Because we were living in a patriarchy that were suppressing the feminine. so literally suppressing the South, suppressing South America. So it's obvious that yes, part of what is going on is happening a lot in North America, is happening a lot in Europe, because that's what suddenly been happening in the last years in our planet. That obviously, and the fight really is going on there. And here in the South, we are just recovering the strength of the land, remembering the wisdom. And yeah, that's all what I want to share, at least in this video. And yeah, I just feel so passionate because I've been receiving so many messages in dreams, in visions for many years now. And suddenly I was in Peru and obviously feeling all these things already before. And then when I was almost like in the last part of the trip, or in half part of the trip, when we were going towards Machu Picchu, we sit in the train with these women from Colombia, and they spoke to me about this Ecuadorian woman, because I started speaking about, you know, the connection with the stars and everything. We start sharing. And then suddenly I was saying, like, yeah, that I really feel that here in Los Andes, there is really a connection with the Celtics, and I really feel there is so much depth that we know. And then she was like, you know what, there is this woman who speaks about this, she's amazing. And she was pretty much saying what I was feeling and sensing and receiving insights. And it's so amazing when you actually getting a confirmation through a person who obviously studied 49 years of this history and it read books and everything, and she's saying this true. And then you say, oh, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, maybe all these visions and dreams are actually part of what I came here to share as well with people, because that's really what even my school Aquaelle is really this anchoring of the feminine energy.